Today's motion is, should we support or challenge traditional gender roles in the society? Uh, the society is rapidly changing, and traditional gender roles stand at a crossroads. Therefore, at this point, we ask ourselves the question, is it time to challenge and reshape these traditional gender roles, or should we uphold these time-honored traditional gender roles? This is in the midst of trying to identify the different, gender identity, gender equality, and the different social norms in different countries and different societies. You're welcome today. Join us as we explore this very contentious topic and its impact on the society as individuals, young female leaders, and beyond. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce the debaters and judges for today. I'd like to start with the proposers for the motion. The first proposer is Muriel Nyambo. Muriel Nyambo is a gender activist from Cameroon. She is a holder of a BSc in Women and Gender Studies and currently pursuing masters in the same field. She's passionate about research, volunteerism, and gender equality. She works part-time with a growing organization aimed at promoting women's empowerment. Muriel Nyambo, you're welcome to this debate and looking forward to your points. The next proposer for the motion is Rachel Belinda. Rachel Belinda is a student at Makerere University in Uganda doing food science and technology. She's the 89th GRC of Africa Hall, the current vice chairperson of Makerere Coffee Club and ambassador of Nostalgic Coffee Uganda. You're welcome, Rachel Belinda. Our next proposer is Sandra Airot. Sandra Airot is from Uganda. She is a student at Uganda Christian University who is passionate about gender equality, mental health, and children, and she's excited to be here. You're welcome, Sandra. Our next proposer is Ali Mariam. Mariam is a multifaceted individual, both charismatic and diplomatic, with an innate need to utilize her skills for the greater good. She is a tech enthusiast and passionate advocate for human rights and equity, firmly believing that technology is boundless and can be harnessed for social good. You're welcome, Ali Mariam. Next, we go to the opposers. Our opposers are two young female leaders. The first opposer is Yasmin Jallo. Yasmin Jallo is a 28-year-old Tunisian PhD student and researcher in gender studies and political science at the Faculty of Law and Political Sciences. She's an international feminist and a climate change activist. Her advocacy for women's rights and climate change issues are priorities for her. She recently worked on drafting a policy brief to defend Tunisian rural women who are affected by the climate crisis. She also conducts awareness workshops on gender issues. You're welcome, Yasmin. Our last opposer is Hannah Margaret. Anna is a 24-year-old feminist and environmentalist from Uganda, passionately dedicated to promoting women's rights and climate justice. She works as the project manager at Walton Africa. She is a peer counselor at Freedom and Rome Uganda, a global youth ambassador at TheALI, and also an alumni of Harvard University Aspire Leadership Program. Hannah holds a bachelor's degree in social work from Makerere University and is a skilled writer and a public speaker. Though her work and advocacy, she amplifies the voices of marginalized women and communities. You welcome, Hannah. At this point, I would like to I'd like to introduce our esteemed judges. Our judges today are two. We'll be having our first judge as Billy Merivon. Billy Merivon is a Burundian nationality. Billy Merivon is of Burundian nationality and currently resides in Bujumbura, Burundi. Graduated in health and community development, currently CEO of a company called Billy Fashion Tesa. She's passionate about innovation, development, explore and learn new things, youth employment, fashion, and recycling. On July 27th, 2019, Billy launched, a company for women's fashion accessories recycled from end-of-life clothing. Thanks to her sense of creativity, her courage, her perseverance, and the empathy she has towards her community, she sees fit to create a business that she wants to benefit with her community. Billy involves young girls by giving them training on financial education and the recycling of women's fashion accessories with the aim of financial empowerment from recycling of end life of clothing. You welcome Billy Merivon. At this juncture, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of our director, the founder and executive director of the Amazon Leadership Initiative, Mary Izobo. You're welcome to this meeting. We're very happy to see you, and thank you for taking out your time to join us in this debate. I'd like to give you an opportunity to kindly say hi to the young female leaders.
Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. Good evening and happy debating.
Please unmute. You're muted.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yes, Miss Mary, we can.
Oh, hi. Good evening. I just wanted to say hello. I thought I was going to creep in quickly, quietly. But anyway, I don't want to take any much of your time. Hi, I'm excited to listen to you all tonight on your debate. So good luck to the debaters.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, so without further ado, we'll give it over to the proposers, starting off with Muriel. You can start.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Good evening to our distinguished judges, fellow co-debaters, and participants. You're all welcome to this debate. And I am called Muriel Nyambo from Cameroon. So I stand in to support the motion.
Proceed to the next judge. There is Judy Wanja. Judy Wanja is a young female leader from Kenya. She's passionate about leadership background. She has a background in economics and statistics, currently working as a youth officer in Kiambu County, Kenya. She is the founder of Gichugu High Value Women and the High Five Foundation in Kirinyaga County. You're welcome. I'd like to once again welcome our debaters and our judges. Some of you might be asking yourselves whether in this day and time we still have traditional gender roles. Yes, they still do exist. There are different communities which still uphold these traditional gender roles. Straight to the heart of this debate, I would like to define a few terms. We'll start with support. What is support? Support is to give assistance to. I also define the term society. The society is an aggregate of people living together in a community. Now on to the very heart of our debate. What are gender role norms? These are the society's expectations and standards about how we should behave based on our gender. In very many societies, you find that women are expected to do the cooking work and such tasks, and the men are expected to be the breadwinners. So I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome our first proposer to start presenting on their points.
Okay, thank you very much, Flavienne, for giving me the floor. Good evening, everyone. I am called Muriel Nyambo, and I am here to stand in for the motion which aims at supporting the fact that gender roles in the society.
The first proposer is Muriel Nyambo. You have 5 minutes. Please proceed.
Okay, thank you very much, Velma, for giving me the floor. Good evening, everyone. Good evening to our distinguished members of the jury, fellow co-debaters and participants. Good evening once more. I stand in here to support the motion, which is actually proving that gender roles or traditional gender roles are an important aspect of our society. And I'm going to start off with a little anecdote, which says, in every story, there is a good and a bad part. And this makes me to go straight into my argument, which is to say that, or to state that traditional gender roles promote complementarity, creates a structure for society, as well as promote or provide organization for every given society. Why do I say so? I am making reference back to our pre-colonial days and making reference to our hunters and gatherers society, where both men and women could be seen involved in outdoor activities. And those outdoor activities are what we consider today as the public sphere. And so women and men were engaged in the public sphere. While men went out to hunt for wild games, women on their part equally went out gathering wild fruits and other animals, which they in turn brought back to the community to commune together as a family. And I have a few examples. For instance, among the Bororos in Cameroon, who are normally pastoralists, we find that the men are those who head the cattle, while the women are those who produce the dairy products. Another study by Amechi et al. In 2019 among the Igbo community tried to show us how gender complementarity existed within the community. And according to these scholars, they said among the Igbo tradition, there were social or traditional expectations which were assigned to every gender, be them a men or women, and they both complemented each other because they believed that from creation, living things were both male and female. And if living things were created both male and female, each of them had distinct features and ability which they needed to bring together or bring to the table in order to optimize available resources and promote societal peace. That is why I stand here to say that traditional gender roles have gone a long way in promoting gender complementarity, in giving a structure in which the society should follow. Back to you, Velma.
Okay, I'll take over for Flavian. So thank you so much, Muriel. That is our first proposer. Now we're moving on to the second proposer, Miss Sandra.
Good evening, everyone. Hope I'm clear enough. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Shiro. I think I'll start off from where the current speaker left. So, as the Hi, everyone. Sorry for that.
Sandra, please proceed.
Okay, so since Sandra has lost connection, we'll move to the third proposer, Ali Mariam.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Mariam Ali. I am from Nairobi, Kenya, and today I am here to support the motion that gender roles are important in the society of today, as just as they were before. So the point I'm going to emphasize on is specifically how traditional gender roles contribute to building the economy. So traditional gender roles have historically played a significant role in building the economy by shaping labor participation, specialization, and household dynamics. How? So you would wonder. So the first point under labor division, gender traditional gender roles often assign specific tasks and responsibilities to men and women. Men are typically associated with roles requiring physical strength and outdoor work, such as farming, construction, and manufacturing, whilst women, on the other hand, have historically been responsible for domestic tasks such as cooking, cleaning, and caregiving. This division of labor maximizes productivity by utilizing the strengths and abilities of each gender in different sectors of the economy. And then secondly, we have specialization. Gender-based roles enable specialization within households and communities. Men focus on income-generating activities outside the home, while women manage domestic duties and care work. This specialization allows individuals to develop expertise in their respective roles, leading to greater efficiency and productivity. And then on to labor force participation. Traditional gender roles have influenced labor force participation rates, with men typically being the primary breadwinners and women often taking on secondary income earning roles or staying at home to take care of children and elderly family members. This division of labor has historically increased overall workforce participation, contributing to economic output and economic growth. Last but not least, social stability. Traditional gender roles provide a sense of stability and order within households and communities, which is essential for economic development. Clear expectations regarding gender roles and responsibilities help minimize conflict and uncertainty, fostering an environment conducive to investment, entrepreneurship, and economic growth. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'd like to welcome the third proposer, who is Rachel Belinda.
Yeah, I'll be supporting the motion in traditional gender role. Following what the previous speakers and my teammates have suggested, I'd like to say that we should support traditional gender norms simply because they preserve our culture and play a crucial role in family upbringing. I would like to say that traditional gender norms have actually traditional gender norms have been passed from our ancestors way back in the 2000s, the 19s, the 200s BC up to date, and I believe they link us to the previous generations. So promoting traditional gender roles in one way or the other will help us to connect to our ancestral values. For example, if we were to look at, let's say, promotion of the different roles, just like my previous speaker said, division of labor, the roles of women, the roles of men in a family, it will at least promote continuity in generations to the past. Then that all cultural practices and rituals, just as all of us know, many African cultural practices and rituals have been gender specific and essential for maintaining the cultural identity for most of our communities. Let's take an example of the Maasai community that is in Kenya and Tanzania. They have rituals that involve children that are coming of age, let's say the male and the female. Besides that also, if we are to look at the traditional gender roles of language and oral traditions, we can look at proverbs such as a woman is a flower in a garden and her husband is the fence around it. This proverb in one way or the other tries to emphasize the fact that men are supposed to be the protectors of the women and women are the ones that organize the society. So by promoting traditional gender roles, I believe we shall be promoting culture in our society. Besides that also, if we are to promote traditional gender roles and norms, I believe it gives us a sense of pride and belonging as natives of Africa. If at all we are to change everything concerning our tradition in one way or the other, we shall lose out ourselves. So I believe by promoting our own traditions and norms, we shall be preserving our culture and we shall have that sense of pride and belonging in one way or the other. Yeah, thank you so much. I'd like to rest my case.
Thank you very much, Rachel. I'd like to give an opportunity to Sandra if she's available to speak.
Good evening, everyone, once again. Sorry for what had happened earlier. My network was quite shaky, but hope I'm being heard well. As said by the precurrent speakers, yes, traditional gender roles. I'm just going to add on from what my colleagues have said. Traditional gender roles have enhanced masculinity in the society. This is because of the different division of roles this is because of the different division that existed in the traditional societies, whereby we see that men were assigned with the responsibility of taking care of the family, of being the breadwinners of the family.
Thank you very much, Sandra. Though we were not able to get you clearly, but we'd like to proceed because of time. We'd like to proceed to the opposite side, and I'd like to call the first opposer, which is Yasmin Jallo.
Hello, everyone. Greetings, ladies. Thank you so much. So, yes, I oppose to uh, the the idea of supporting gender role norms for different reasons. Okay, so I'm going to start with the first reason. From a sociological point of view, gender norms roles are based on stereotypes rooted in unequal power, dominance, and subordination that leads to discrimination and decreases risk to gender-based violence. In fact, values and norms about who can speak out or make decisions directly affect how power is distributed in society, typically to the disadvantage of women and girls in particular. So adult men and adolescent boys benefit most clearly from the norms. They have more power, they have more freedom, and better access to resources. Therefore, assertions of power and privilege often entail violence directed at women and girls with grave consequences. Yes, in fact, a staggering 25% of people believe it is justified for a man to beat his wife, according to the Gender Social Norms Index report of 2023, launched by UNDP. Also, 1 in 3 women globally have already suffered physical or sexual intimate partner violence, non-partner sexual violence, or both, according to World Health Organization to 2021. And every 12 minutes, a woman or girl is killed by a member of her own family, according to UN Women. So, yes, these are statistics that show the 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 consequences of acceptance of the accept of gender norms that are really, really harmful to women and girls. Also, my second reason is that gender norms entail a denial of human rights and social gender justice. Indeed, so gender stereotyping is wrongful when it results in a violation or violations of human rights and fundamental freedoms. An example of this is the failure to criminalize marital rape based on the stereotype of women as the sexual property of men. According to this, more than 1,200 girls are at risk of female genital mutilation every day in 2024, according to World Health Organization's 2024. So yes, these are my reasons. And back to you, Flavian. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Jasmine. I'd like to invite the second opposer, who is Miss Anna Margaret. Please welcome.
Thank you very much, moderator. Good evening, Gallant House. My name is Nachigo Johanna Margaret from Uganda, and my colleague and I are here to oppose today's motion that states that we should support traditional gender norms. Well, roles. As the negators of today's motion, we believe that traditional gender roles are harmful and should therefore be challenged and dealt with. My first argument is traditional gender roles should be challenged because they prevent women from attaining equal opportunities as men especially in the labor market, yet they are as qualified for these opportunities as men are. I've overheard our proposers say that women need to go to the kitchen and take care of children while the men go to the labor market and work hard to return food to the family, which I have no problem with. We all want division of labor, but the question I have is, which yardstick are you using to choose who goes to the kitchen and who remains in the labor market to participate in conferences, to work in the hospital, laboratories, or elsewhere? And our dear proposers would, of course, tell me, women are weaker, softer, and nurturers by nature, and therefore deserve to stay at home while men go and work outside in the labor market because they are physically stronger. But our dear gallant house, we will all agree that gone are the days when physical strength was the most sought after attribute in the job market. As of 2024 today, the most sought after attributes in the labor market are rather creativity, intellect, craftsmanship, and innovation, which we've come to agree upon actually, that women and men possess in equal proportions. You see, a study by Al Hunt at Cambridge University in 2010 compared the IQ levels of men and women and found that there exists no significant difference between the IQ of a woman and a man. Therefore, men and women are equally able to lead and excel in academia, business, science, among other things. However, you'll be appalled to find that despite us having equal capacity to contribute in society as men, we continue to lag behind and occupy the lowest positions of authority in society and institutions. You know, it's very common to hear that the higher you go, the less women you will find. If you think this is a joke, look at Forbes' list of the world's most powerful people in the world as of 2024. The list has 75 people who have excelled in innovation, leadership, finance, and philanthropy, among other things. Of the 75 people, would you like to know how many are female? Well, they are only 4. And well, the proposers of today's motion will tell me that, yes, that's the point. Women cannot lead as much as men can. But this is not true. I will tell you what is truly keeping women from occupying higher positions of authority or from attaining more slots in the Forbes list of the most powerful people in the world. It is the traditional gender roles and stereotypes that I've come to talk against today. You see, a research by University of Chicago found that gender roles and stereotypes have a very deep impact on our lives and performance in our day-to-day lives as people, in what they dubbed as the stereotype threat. In their research, they found that stereotype threats tend to occupy a very large part of people's working memory space, leaving very little for a person to perform the tasks they have at hand. To emphasize the harm of gender roles and stereotypes, Stanford University got 2 identical groups of high school students, both boys and girls, and subjected them to SAT tests. SAT tests are usually aptitude, logic, and math. For the first group of students, the girls were told that, hey, you know boys are better at aptitude, logic, and math than girls, and we are sure that the boys will beat you at this test. Resultantly, the average score of the girls on this test was 12.5 out of 20. However, for the second group of students, the girls were told that please disregard any existing stereotypes regarding gender and math. Both girls and boys have potential to excel in math and anything else that they want in their lives. Resultantly, the girls in the second group scored an average of 15 out of 20 on the test. What does this show us? That gender roles and stereotypes are compromising women's potential to perform their absolute best. As young African leaders, I bet you've all heard the statements such as, work hard, but not too hard, or else you might scare off the man who may want to marry you. We've heard of it. Ultimately, we believe, as the negators of today's motion, that traditional gender roles should be challenged because they disempower women and block them from chances to contribute their unique intelligence and talents to the world, yet they have them in plenty. My second view, As Africa and the world at large, you realize that we'll never be able to fight and win the battle against HIV/AIDS if we do not first challenge traditional gender roles. In 2021, a researcher known as Wavara conducted a study to compare men's attitudes towards contraception against women's empowerment to demand for safer sex and family planning in India. The following is what they found. They found, am I still on time? They found that both men and women had good attitudes towards contraception. However, men had negative attitudes towards contraception, yet women had positive attitudes. However, the women said that even though they had good knowledge and good attitudes towards contraception, they had nothing to do about it and had to go with whatever their men chose. The women believed that it was culturally, quote unquote, and morally wrong for them to be involved in sexual negotiation, as deciding whether they should have a condom was the role of the man. One lady, when asked about her attitudes towards carrying her own condoms before going for sex, exclaimed that, "I would never. That would make me look like a prostitute. Like I'm so interested in the sex. It is the role of the man to bring the condoms. If he doesn't bring them, we will just leave it to that." So you see how gender roles are actually sabotaging and compromising our fight against HIV/AIDS. Gallant House, if we do not challenge traditional gender norms, we will never be able to win the fight against HIV/AIDS. And we all know how much we've invested in this fight, only to lose it to traditional gender roles. We should not accept that. In conclusion, I believe that traditional gender roles are harmful and should be dealt with. I implore our Gallant House to join us in the fight against traditional gender roles and support gender equality. As parents, let us strive to teach our children all the skills they need to strive in the 21st century without letting them be confined by the clause of gender roles. This way, I believe we'll create a fair and equitable society that both men and women will be proud of. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Truly, as we fight towards gender equality, we still ask ourselves whether is it proper to support or challenge traditional gender roles in the society. The opposers, you have 3 minutes to add points because you're only 2. So you have 3 minutes, then we will start the rebuttals.
Okay, thank you so much, Lavienne. Can I speak?
Proceed.
Thank you. So I'm going to say that maybe from also sociological point of view, gender ideologies and roles that assign the majority of domestic work to girls, which can impede their opportunities for study, as my fellow opposer said, for study or for promotion or for getting a better job. So it it's because gender ideologies prevail. So I can say that boys always have a lower burden of chores and are freer to fulfill their potential. Also, stereotypes uh, about women's role within the family leads to a division of labor that results in poverty for women and lower levels of fulfillment, of course. And another point is that getting started on adult life through marriage and motherhood is, of course, is preferable to waiting around home. That is a gender norm role, but it's wrong. Yeah, it's wrong because, you know, getting married at early age is not a good thing for girls because girls have lots of things to do in their future, because girls, as my fellow friend said, uh, can be uh, can be anything, like, I don't know, like pilots, like presidents, like true leaders in their life. But unfortunately, this idea prevail in societies. I can I can give you an example of my society, Tunisian society. So it's very,
Truly,
yeah,
um,
I can be quick. So getting
we could
married early is always a good idea, but it's wrong. Okay, thank you. Thank you,
thank
Flavia.
you very much,
Yeah.
Yasmin. We'd like to proceed to our rebuttals, and we'll start with the proposers. It's time for rebuttals.
Hello. Greetings again. So personally, I would like to rebuttal, actually not rebuttal, but yes, rebuttal what Hannah had stated. And I think this was in regards to my point on the duties of men and women. And I would like to specifically counter that with, for one, what my colleague Muriel had stated on complementarity to start with. And with that, I'd like to pose a question for her specifically. So, like I had stated in my point, of which I will reread it again, the point was specifically on labor division. It stated traditional gender roles often assign specific tasks and responsibilities to men and women. Men are typically associated with roles requiring physical strength and outdoor work, such as farming, construction, and manufacturing. Women, on the other hand, have historically been responsible for domestic tasks like cooking, cleaning, and caregiving. So, a question to Hannah. If both yourself and, for instance, your male partner decide perhaps you're both going to do the work, perhaps construction, and I might also nudge the audience, how many ladies here would wish to partake in work that requires physical strength? You can just raise your hand. But yes, a question to Hannah. If both of you do that, who will cook? Will the food cook itself? But you might respond to me by saying perhaps a maid. 90% of the time, maids are female. Why is it that they're not male? Why is it that you feel safe when you leave your kids to be taken care of by a woman and not a man? And I that goes back to women being caregivers, which stems from traditional gender roles. And then additionally, I think the essence of such roles being given is to also bring about peace and cohesion. And how? Because these clear frameworks create a room for expected behaviors and responsibilities, and this helps in maintaining order and predictability. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Muriel, for the refutation. Now, I think you've asked me that if I decided to engage in masculine work as well as my male partner, then who will do the cooking? Where people get it wrong is that they think that males are actually not interested, that the call to feminism or gender equality is for women all to go up and take up the roles of the masculine, but there's men actually who want to engage in feminine work, and it's the gender roles that I'm talking about today that are stopping them. If you think that if I take up masculine work in a family, no one will cook, the man will cook. Why do I think the man will cook? Because ever since we started to challenge traditional gender roles, we see more men actually wanting to engage in work like cooking, and you will see that people who are excelling in being chefs are actually more of men, all thanks to the fact that we are challenging traditional gender roles. Then you're also mentioning that we need to go back, no, I'll refute that later when I'm given the opportunity. But labor division, what I'm trying to mean is that people should not be divided into tasks just because of the way they present, because you're male or female. People have aspirations and things they want to engage in. Some men are passionate in more feminine duties, and they're being constrained to engage in them because of traditional gender roles. That is why I call upon people to recognize that traditional gender roles not only hurt women, but men too. You tend to think that only women will be able to excel in services such as cooking, looking after children, and most of the times men are also losing out in these arrangements. Many men who are able to take care of their children as single fathers have been denied that chance by courts of law and by societies because they assume that they don't have the caring gene. There is no caring gene. Anyone can be as smooth and as feminine as they can. We should get away with traditional gender roles and let people to engage in things that they are passionate about. Otherwise, we are letting people die away with their passions and talents and things they could actually have delivered just because we are constraining them with traditional gender norms. That's what I think, Muriel.
It's Mariam, and thank you so much for your response.
Oh,
Before we
okay,
go
Mariam.
any further, you mentioned if they want to be feminine. Is this you implying that these are feminine roles? And then yes, my question specifically was if you and your partner, both of you, want to pursue work, or like you stated, masculine work, who is gonna cook? Not that he wants to pursue what you have just stated as a feminine role. Thank you.
Anyone can cook. Who is gonna cook? Cooking is just any other role but can be done by anyone, either the male or the female in the family. Anyone can engage in washing the car, anyone can engage in cooking. As long as there's no traditional gender roles that will limit people from actually doing things that they would have loved, but are actually being kept back by society and the norms.
Exactly, Hannah. I can take it from here. I mean, like, harmful gender norms help create environments in which it's considered okay for husbands to harm their wives, in which it's okay to pay women 20% less than their male colleagues for the same job, in which it is okay that women cannot own land or open a bank account without a husband's permission, in which it is okay that women do 2.5 times as much unpaid household and childcare work as men. We are talking here about normalizing the whole thing, which is really wrong, which is really dangerous to think that it's okay for women to, I don't know, to be to conform to the gender roles. I have a statistic here that says that only 10% of the world's heads of state today are women, which is really, really, really low statistics because women have potential. Women can do anything, but gender roles norms are really like depriving women from their rights to be fully fulfilled in their societies. Thank you.
Please, I would like to say something.
Proceed.
Miriam.
I have listened to brilliant points from both sides. I am on the side supporting the fact that traditional gender roles should remain or are important. What we are trying to say, I will try to go down memory lane. I think what my co-debaters are talking about, we have drifted a little bit to the modern gender roles. If we go back in time to pre-colonial Africa, I want to use Africa as a case study here. If we go back in time, we notice that men and women carried out activities together. If you look at some communities or some societies within the African continent, we will find that women actually held positions of power. Women were involved in decision making. We are going to see that women owned land. We are going to see that women went out of the household and work, and they were able to combine household work and work out of the house. Like I earlier gave an example of the pygmies. They believed in the ideology of job sharing. That is why you saw us hitting on the point of complementarity. But I'm trying to say here that what the opposers are talking about, it's with the advent of colonialism. In Africa, we do not have a problem of let's say women are in the subordinate position or the man is in the dominant position. I don't think that actually existed. But men and women saw themselves as partners who could work together in order to bring, or in order to how will I say, to bring social cohesion within their communities. I believe everybody here must have watched The Woman King. I do not think that group of the army soldiers was challenging their king, but the king was listening to them and they were listening to the king. So it just stands to show us that colonialism came and destroyed what had existed. If men and women were going out into the private sphere and working with colonialism, our colonial masters were surprised as to how will women equally work out of the household like the male counterparts. And that is when they brought in the ideology of the Victorian woman, that we should sit in the house and look beautiful. But what I'm trying to say is that is not what actually existed. There was actually a good part of these traditional gender roles which we could support. And the traditional gender roles, in my opinion, did not foster discrimination. It instead promoted complementarity. Each and everyone understood what they had to do and they worked in that light. And that is why you're going to see a situation where maybe there were not many squabbles in the past. But if you come now in our present, let's say, relationships, you're going to understand that there are many difficulties that we go through. And Yasmin was hampered on the point that so many household chores will make women not to be proficient at work. I beg to differ, because I come from a house where we were doing the household chores, my sister and I don't think at some point we were not excelling in school. In school, I think there is a novel written by Virginia Woolf which talks about a room of one's own. In that room of one's own, she believed that even if she had children around her, she could write her novel. She could exercise what she wanted to do at her best. So I think it did not actually hamper her, but it was a strength. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Muriel. I can say that what you said differ from the society to another. That's first. Second of all, we are living in 2024. Okay, so we are living in 2024 where things are really changing. So we are talking here about violence, about sexual harassment, about sexual violence, about marital rape, about uh, uh, genital mutilation. We are talking about things that come from the result of the accept of gender norms and the normalization of gender norms. Okay, so yes, I can give you myself as an example. I'm living in Tunisian society. Tunisian society think that women, girls should be married at age of 16. Women and girls should obey their husbands. Women and girls should not continue studying. But yes, I can say that uh, I'm challenging that because I don't really believe in that. And besides, in my family, I can say that I'm burdened by if it's okay with you, it's okay. But I myself, I'm burdened with house chores because we are not sharing house chores in the house. Okay, I'm not the only one who's living in the house. I have other members, but why I'm the only one who does the chores? That's not fair, my dear. I can say that every day I spend 3 to 4 hours in house chores, but I do have research. I have my PhD. I have my workshops, but I really find it sometimes hard to do so, to do both. Okay, And yes, I'm succeeding at challenging this. I'm really changing this in my family because I really convinced them that we really should share share the house chores. Okay, it's not for women only. It's for women and men. Okay, so everyone should really believe in that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Yasmin. This is getting really interesting. I'd like to take this opportunity to invite submissions from the young female leaders. Kindly, if you'd like to speak, just raise your
But we
hand.
not refuted them. They had a chance to refute us. We did not refute them.
Time is not on our side. Please raise your hand if anybody in the chat box, if you want to speak, kindly raise your hand.
Can
Yes,
I
Maria.
graduate? Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, so this is to Yasmin. She has mentioned two things that I felt necessary to highlight. So one was on sexual violence. She has mentioned this several times, and I'd like to really understand how the correlation between traditional gender roles and sexual violence. Perhaps she might mention what she had mentioned earlier on marital rape. And in regards to that, first of all, I would like perhaps statistics, and then additionally, again, what is the correlation between that and traditional gender roles? Because in my understanding, I think that is a personal vice and it doesn't necessarily stem from traditional gender roles. And then lastly, on she had also mentioned something to do with land ownership, and I'd give her an example that she can probably relate to. I think so. For us in the Muslim religion, when we learn about one of our important prophets, that is Prophet Muhammad, we learn about one of his wives, specifically Hadija, and this was before Islam itself came into fruition. And we are told that this lady owned a lot of wealth. She had a huge trade going on for her, and so again, I think back to what my colleague Muriel had stated, that at this that again, perhaps it really hasn't necessarily any relation to do with traditional gender roles, and it does vary from society to society. And I believe that at the same time, this lady that owned this amount of wealth and this trading and all that, at the same time she would still practice traditional gender roles like cooking and cleaning and all that. So I don't see again how that deters anyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Mariam. I can respond to you. So I already mentioned it and explained it from a sociological point of view. Sociologists think that there is a relationship between violence and the gender norms, what we call relation of power, of or like I explained that gender norm roles are based on unequal power between men and women, like dominance and subordination. So men generally are the powerful ones, and women are the disadvantaged ones. So, and when you really get into this relation, there is directly a discrimination against the disadvantaged ones, which are women and girls in general. So we are
Thank you
talking
very
here
much,
about
Yasmin.
violence. Thank you so much.
Since there is no one to comment on our motion today, I'd like to read your comments. We have Anjali who says, I have mixed feelings about traditional gender roles. In certain cultural and social contexts, they can provide structure and clarity, such as in preserving cultural heritage and maintaining family traditions. However, in many modern settings, these roles can be restrictive and limit personal freedom, preventing individuals from pursuing their true interests and potential. I believe it's important to balance respecting cultural traditions with promoting flexibility and equality, allowing everyone to choose their own paths regardless of gender. Thank you very much, Anjali, for your comment. We have Zion who says gender equality should be emphasized in our communities. We shouldn't be stuck with the cultural norms, which even at some wants to exploit the girl child and dealing their dreams in the name of saying boo norms, so they should be normal, but which isn't the case. Thank you very much, Zion. For your comment. Winnie Makara says, I believe they should be challenged as people are slowly getting exposed and societies are transforming. The level of education also contributes greatly to how society reacts to gender roles. Thank you very much, Winnie. We have Pony Joy who says, in my opinion, gender roles actually limit both men and women from achieving their desires. This is because society has put standards for both men and women. We realize that some men may be interested in doing jobs termed feminine by society, and because of that, they get discouraged, and yet that's where the passion likewise to women. I think the gender roles need to be restructured in a way that it doesn't make one gender superior to the other. Thank you very much, Pony Joy, for your comments. If anyone still wants to comment on the motion, please raise your hand before we give the judges an opportunity to make their comments.
Thank you very much. I would like to refute Muriel Nyambo, who was very preoccupied with telling us that we need to maintain traditional gender roles because they trace back to pre-colonial days as Africans. And I would like to inform her that even though we would like to go back, it is impossible because these traditional gender roles were made way back during those contexts whereby they could match what was happening those days. You realize that in the 1800s, an African man who gathered fruits and went fishing was able to feed a family of 25 people. Because first of all, the resources were more and the people were less. The competition was not as stiff as it is. In the 1900s, a man could single-handedly take care of his family of 8. But in the context of today, 2024, Nyambo, you realize that it is very hard for a single hand to take care of a family of 4 if we are to keep women from working and being at home to take care of children and everything. Those kind of families are not going to be able to thrive in these days. A non-working woman today will clearly be a liability rather than an asset to their husband. And Ali actually told me that, no, I think it was Ali, that it was partnership back then, but not forced submission. And I would like to inform Ali that way back, you want to look at it as if it was a partnership and complementary roles way back in the days, but you realize that they were roles particularly assigned to a certain gender. Complementary roles where the woman was supposed to clean the house and take care of the children while the man goes out hunting. But you realize that in such an arrangement, we missed out a lot on female hunters, female fishers, and men babysitters. That's why we need to move away from those days. Even if you're claiming that it was a partnership, organized alongside gender, not capability and passion, which we have to move away from because we are losing out on talent and passion. That is it. And also, I would like to refute Belinda Rachel, her idea of culture, that we have to preserve our culture as Africans. But you realize, Belinda, that culture is made by us. Culture is made by people, and people should not be molded by culture. We as people create the culture. How do gender norms come about? We mold them as people, socialization and social interactions.
Thank you very much,
Hannah. Okay, thank you.
I would like to take this opportunity to invite our esteemed judges to make their comments regarding your debate. You're welcome, Ms. Billy and Ms. Judy.
Good evening. I'm Billy, and thank you all for the points you give. I have listened the argument, and I have make judgment on each team did the best and was the most rational. So regarding the criteria, I can say that we have to give the list of criteria like clarity and relevance, giving importance to the principal point, quality of argumentative practice, clear and convincing. So thank you so much for all the team. And thank you for Belinda, Mireille, Sandra, Mariam for promotion team, and opposer team, Yasmin and Hannah. Thank you for, I like this opposers team. Hannah, she clearly give the point with example and did her best to give example and confess her points. Thank you. And also I want also to give an occasion to another judge, which is GD, to tell something on that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, my fellow judge Billy. Good evening, ladies. That was one great show that you pulled up right there. Personally, I'm lost for words. I didn't know it was going to be so tough. We've listened to all the presentations from both sides. I must say that each of you was really prepared to give your opinion about the debate. I love that the way you've articulated the point yourself. It of course shows that you had done a lot of research on the topic as well. Yeah, to both sides, there was a lot of you pulled out good examples of whatever you are pushing for. I love the fact that you also adopted statistics, like you look at the Forbes, someone talked about the Forbes and also the reports from the UN and all that. So it was such a great debate from you ladies. We have looked at them keenly and carefully. So once we give out our judgment, I hope that everyone will be okay with it. And of course, we are going to give our reasons why we think that the side that will have won, because all of you, you've pulled out and you've really made it a good debate. So I think we'll be coming back now to announce our winner, or rather the side that we feel has really been convincing in terms of mastery of content and of course being able to articulate your points and what you feel about the topic. So thank you.
This chance was for you to give the judgments and then the remarks, so you can proceed.
Judy, you can proceed, it's fine.
Okay, thank you. So first of all, the topic tonight was whether, it was about we are looking at the traditional gender norms and whether they are favorable or not. Let me just read that. Should we support or challenge traditional gender roles in the society? So from what both sides have been able to present, we feel that, well, of course, with what you people have been been able to put across, that we should oppose the fact that, like we are on the opposing side. I feel that it's the side that has carried the day. We challenge the traditional gender roles in our society. One, for the various reasons that, for both men and women, the gender roles that have been there since time immemorial, some of them have felt incapacitated and unable to fully exploit their potential due to the way the society has painted things to look like. Like the things you're not able to do, whether you are a man or a woman, because of how traditionally things have been viewed as. And I love the fact that the side of the opposers have been able to balance both the men and women. They haven't really, leaned on the men's side, or rather the women's side alone. They have also shown us that even the men have been challenged by these traditional gender norms. We loved how they have articulated their points. There was a lot of evidence in terms of statistics and their mastery of content. So tonight, the team that says that we challenge traditional gender norms in society have carried the night. However, we also want to congratulate the proposing side, the side that feels that we should support traditional gender roles in our society. We thank you for your input. You are also very articulate in your points. But eventually there had to be a winner, and we feel that you have also been articulating your points clearly. But from when we look at what we are able to judge from, we feel that the challenging side has taken the evening. Thank you so much, everyone, for your contributions. We have really loved the debate. It was so good to hear from all of you. You have a lot to show. I wish you could have had more time. And that's it from the judges table. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Judge Judy. So I'd like to invite the debaters to give their final remarks. From the proposer's side, we're having Sandra to give her closing remarks.
Hi everyone, good evening. From the proposer side, I would like to first of all thank everyone that participated. All of you really did so well. The ladies on the both sides, you were amazing. Yeah, that was good of you. So from the proposer side, what can I say? You guys literally said everything. You gave everything. So I really have nothing much to say. Yes, thank you so much for participating in the debate.
Thank you very much, Sandra. I'd like to invite Yasmin Jallo from the opposite side to give her closing remarks.
Thank you. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you to it's been an honor to participate in this debate. So I can conclude by saying that what makes women at retreat is the acceptance of gender norms. So yes, we have to, as young female leaders, as advocates for gender issues, we should challenge these norms and make a better world where men and women are equal, and where women uh, have their rights uh, to be fulfilled and to be successful in their lives. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yasmin. So I'd like to take this opportunity to invite any other young female leader who would like to contribute? If not, I'd like to give my closing remarks. If you'd like to contribute on anything, please let us know in the chat box.
Flavian,
Yes?
can I kindly add something to the closing remarks?
Yeah, you can proceed.
Yes. Yeah. So huge reminder to everyone here that the purpose of this particular forum was for educational purposes. Yeah. Myself, I am a modern woman. But it's not all the time that you perhaps come across people that have similar thoughts, values, and opinions as you, and you always have to keep that in mind and know how best to navigate around these people. Yeah, so I'm not entirely okay, I'm not necessarily for traditional gender views, but gender roles, but at the same time, do I feel like partly they do serve a purpose? Yes. But should we keep fighting for gender equality? Should we keep vying for big positions, trying to get into major roles, pursuing education? Definitely. And yeah, I've had a lovely. The debate has been very lovely. I have learned a lot, both from the proposer side and the opposite side. And it's been nice just having everyone here contributing as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mariam. I'd like to take this opportunity to give my closing remarks since there is no comment.
Hi, can I please give a comment quickly? So
Okay,
I
you can.
think I was gonna jump in before Miriam jumped in, just to clarify, because I don't want the young female leaders living here today believing that it's okay that mentally a woman is meant to cook, clean, is your job, right? I think this is meant to serve as an educational purpose and also to open our minds as to why some people still think the way they think. And so it's important that as young female leaders, you can be whoever you want to be. I always say that if you want to be a housewife, it's okay, as long as it's your choice, right? I'm never one to say, oh no, do not be a housewife if you want to be a housewife, because some people believe that they want to be at home and care for their kids, right? But then some other women believe that they don't want to be at home. They want to be pilots. They want to be teachers. They want to be nurses. They want to be lawyers. They want to be social workers. They want to be, you can be whoever you want to be, right? And it's cooking, cleaning, and other basic things are necessities that everybody should have. They are social skills. I don't think it's a woman's role that a woman must learn how to cook and a man should not learn how to cook. Why? Because they're social skills. A man should learn how to cook because it's important. If he doesn't cook, he doesn't eat, he will die, right? What happens in a situation whereby there is conflict and the man is alone? Does that mean he will not eat because he doesn't have a sister present, he doesn't have a mom present, he doesn't have a wife present? What about bachelors who go to live alone? You know, as a boy child, you go to study, for example, in Russia, or you go to study in the US by yourself. Does that mean that you must have a girlfriend to serve a purpose for you to cook? And even as a woman, then you become that girlfriend who then cooks for a man. So I think that everyone must learn how to cook. Everyone must learn how to clean. It's life decency. You know, you can't be smelling because you don't know how to shower properly, or your house is very dirty because you can't even wash the dishes, or you can't even wash your bathroom or clean your room. So I want everyone leaving here today that you can be the best version of whoever you want to be. If you want to be a tailor, you want to be a hairdresser, you want to be, just be the best version for yourself. Because you know what? There'll always be somebody who's better. There'll always be somebody who's more intelligent, but you know that you're doing it for yourself, that you come out being the best that you can be. And so on that note, I just want to again emphasize that this is very educational. I have learned a lot, even though I know that the other side, you know, they said what they said, because that's also how the world sometimes view what they view. They view it from the perspective of because sometimes I think about it from the other side. Why do some parents bring a boy and a child into the world and they expect the girl to clean, to cook, why the boy shouldn't do anything? I always wonder why, but I think listening to the other side, I now see why, because they feel that, as women, we have the more nurturing skills in terms of biology. That will not change because I never argue biology because biology is what has been ingrained from God, and I'm a strong believer in God. But again, it doesn't mean that because women have more nurturing skills, does then now mean that we will then become slaves to the society where even though I don't feel like cooking, I don't feel like cleaning, I just want to study. Like, I'm a PhD student, like what Yasmina was saying, I want to study, but no, I must cook. I can't really face my future. And so this is speaking to all of you present here today and to go spread the word that you can be who you want to be. You're not born to cook, clean, and die. Let me use it that way. You're meant to achieve and attain your full potential, get to the fullest potential if you want to be whoever, even if you just want to be, like I say, if you want to be a home housewife and it is your decision to be a housewife, be the housewife that you want to be, but be the housewife with poise. You're the housewife who's caring for your kids, who's caring for your husband, who feels like, I want to dress up to go pick up my kids from school. I want to dress up to cook in the kitchen, but it's your choice. It's nobody's forcing you. Society is not forcing you. Your husband is not forcing you. Your family is not nobody's forcing you. You're the one who wants to be the peng housewife. But if you don't want to be the housewife, you want to achieve your fullest potential and be the best in whatever you want to be, also achieve it. Do not let society, do not let family, do not let peer pressure, do not let men, do not let anyone tell you otherwise. Why? Because you're phenomenal, you're amazing, you're destined for greatness. The world cannot hold you down. Nobody can hold you down. And God is going to elevate you to the highest level with all of us. All of us. When I mean all of us, I mean all of us cheering you on, praying for you, clapping for you, supporting you, guiding you to achieve whoever you want to be. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to our founder, Miss Mary Izobo. Truly, you can achieve whatever you want to achieve, young female leaders. So I'd like to take this opportunity to make my closing remarks. For me, by challenging traditional roles, we pave the way for a more equitable world where everyone can thrive regardless of gender. The opposer's vision of a future where opportunities and expectations are not limited by gender stereotypes is one that resonates with our core values of fairness and progress. Congratulations to the opposers for their well-reasoned and persuasive case. I would like to thank everyone who has taken their time to join us. Thank you for everyone for taking their time to join us in this long-awaited debate. I'm very excited and I've learned a lot from all of you. Thank you very much. And I'd like to end this debate at this point. Black child, your dreams are valid. Sorry, I forgot. Before you leave,
Family photo. I'm not sure if
yeah, it's time for us to take a family photo. So please, you can unmute. You can turn on your cameras so that you can take a family photo.
We got it, Velma. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Shiro. Thank you everyone for joining us. Have a nice evening, afternoon, or morning.
Bye, ladies.